even like when I was reading some before the class, I very like to find something related to the verse in previous Srila Prabhupada's lectures. And when I was going through all these definitions, I found very interesting for me the explanation from Srila Prabhupada of what is important on this way to achieve the moksha, right, and how it should be done. And actually he gives very nice idea which I was not thinking about before, or just I could not understand it fully. But he says that we have in general a misconception of what bhakti is in terms of helping us to achieve the moksha. So most of the people, he says that bhakti begins when one is already liberated, which is mean because he gives this definition that bhakti is a pure devotional service, right? But pure devotional service is available only in a spiritual world, because it is free of contamination which we have in this material existence. And in the verse from Bhagavad Gita 18:54, Krishna says, one who is thus transcendentally situated at once realizes the Supreme Brahman and becomes fully joyful. He never laments or desires to have anything. He is equally disposed toward every living entity. In that state, he attains pure devotional service unto me. And so he gives us this idea that he said that Krishna consciousness movement is a little bit difficult to understand because these activities are for the persons who have already attained moksha. Because and that's why we should not misunderstand the bhakti is lower than something else. There is a karma, jnana, yoga, and bhakti. So bhakti is the top level of all the activities, right? This is what we are always trying to do. So basically, if you read Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam over again, in every single chapter and verse, Prabhupada leads us only to this idea that the most important activity in our life is devotional service, because this is something which leads us to understand the Supreme Lord like a personality, right? To realize Him like Supreme Lord, and to self-realize ourselves like eternal servants of the Lord. That's why when in the material world, all this materialists trying to, it is said in the purport that when materialist explains the moksha as a merge with Supreme Lord. I was saying, I truly lost the idea. I was going somewhere, but anyway. So yeah, we misunderstand the definition. Materialists, they misunderstand the definition of moksha, and they think that the ultimate goal is just to merge with Supreme Lord. But for devotee, it is obvious that only thing that devotee desires in his life is to serve Krishna, and it doesn't matter when, where, in this material existence, we try to serve with our full capacity, just to be able to attain the liberation and to go to the spiritual world, and only our ultimate pure desire is to serve Krishna in the spiritual world as well, because this is the only happiness we can desire in general. And he finishes the purport. He finishes with saying that we have a choice of the living. So the choice of the living entity to exist in either of the above regions. So it means that Krishna always gives us a choice, and if we want to enjoy our material desires, he would always fulfill it, and he will give us the ability to perform our activities in material existence. But if we would simply desire to serve him and to please him and truly realize our position, then it cannot be any other pleasure in our lives. And so this is very nice to understand, and I even so yesterday I had a couple of very interesting conversations with different people who suddenly, I don't know, I have sometimes these days when people just appear from nowhere. I don't know, Divyangi probably knows this feeling when you preach all day long. I mean, you go into the book distribution, and sometimes you just come back and you say, oh my God, I met this girl or this guy, and then we had so interesting conversation because they were really into it. So yesterday, basically, I met 3 of them, and it was very interesting because so one guy, we had very interesting conversation about the God and religion and how it started, because I met him in the interface retreats. So it's kind of spiritual place. This is the hostel where we accommodate people, like the tourists who come to New York City. But the rules in this place are also like you need to follow the rules, right? Like you should not eat meat, fish, eggs, and no intoxication. So, and people come there, and it's also like a lot of books. So in this hostel, in every room, it's just like, I don't know, probably up to 10 books in every room, and it's like Bhagavad-Gita, all those like small books. So basically, people while they stay there, they are able to read something at least. So it's very interesting. And this guy told me, you know, like because he asked me where do I live, and I was like, I'm living in the temple. And I was like, oh, interested. So how did you get there? And I was like explaining, telling my story, and so we ended up discussing that. Like I said, like I don't really believe in God. I'm atheist. And I was like, yeah, I was in the stage before, just before Krishna consciousness, so don't worry, you'll be there soon. But he told me that I opened up the book, I guess, what is it called, like Perfection of Yoga, I guess, about yoga. And he was telling, oh, I opened the book, like in the middle of the book, and it's what written this and that. And but he really caught the, not the bhakti yoga, but any other types of yoga. He said, like, I would like to follow yoga, but just like to maintain my body, to understand how, like, I want to feel every cell of my body. And I was like, interesting, interesting. And then, and he seems like very like intelligent guy, so he was explaining me what he thinks about different religions, about like comparison of it. But in the end, so he was like talking. I was like, okay, so tell me if you know who you really, like, who you are. Do you understand who you are? Like, why are you so eager to maintain your body and to understand every cell of your body? If like, but who actually makes the body work? How? Why if we're all the same, right? And he said like, oh, it's just like neurons, you know, in my mind, like make me move, or you know, all this like connections. And I was like, interesting, but what's the difference between that body and a live body? And then he stopped. He was like, I don't know, actually. So people don't understand that the soul exists, and this is something that makes our body work, that we're not material bodies, but we're eternal souls. And they like to go to science and to try to find answers there on all their questions, but you can read so many books, and when somebody asks you very simple questions, so who you really are, like, do you understand, like, what makes your body work? And I remember Srila Prabhupada also liked this question, because like, you don't know what to say, right? Like, I don't know if you don't, and he was trying to tell me that, but this is really something you need to believe to, like, it's only your beliefs, you know, you can believe in it or you cannot believe, but you cannot see electricity as well, you know, So do you believe in electricity? Or like, should you believe in it or should you just use it? I mean, there are so many things we cannot understand just because we're limited, because we cannot understand anything in how it works. Like, but why then we try to understand the big scale things, like we're trying to explore the universe, but what about you? Like, you don't know yourself. How can you know anything about the universe? Why won't you just use the knowledge of people who already went through this and who already get this knowledge from the God Himself. So I really wish for myself, at least, that I won't ever forget my true position, and this mood of serving each other. The mood of serving, mood of serving to the Supreme Lord, it starts from the mood of serving even each other, in the association of devotees. And that's why we're here, and we try to serve Lord, but we also should always remember that we need to maintain this mood of service, right? Like, in every single move and in every single thought, you need to remember why you're doing this and where you're going. And this is what I wanted to say today. I don't know. I hope you found anything interesting, and I would really appreciate any comments, suggestions, or corrections, wherever you can add, or probably you can share any of your experience of how you came here, how you appeared, looking for the ultimate knowledge. So, someone? Divyangi? Prabhu?
So I yesterday had a class, Bhakti Shastri class from Mila University. She has very nice examples, and she was telling about this, how Krishna knows all the bodies, right, what we were talking about, and it's quite cool because sometimes if a person tells us something, right, we can understand. We say, oh, I feel you, I understand you, but in actuality, we don't understand exactly what other person feels. We understand from our own
Perspective, yeah.
Experience, from our own, experience of these feelings, maybe, right? And she was saying that Krishna is not like that, so he can feel he knows everyone exactly how you feel, even better. And she was giving this nice example how Krishna is everywhere, that even in we're kind of alive, right? We can move, but some things they're not alive, right? Books, for example, or phone, or a bottle of water. It's not alive, but Krishna is also in there.
Yeah.
And she was just giving very practical experience how to feel it. For example, if you touch your nose, or something, if you touch your, anything, right? You feel from both sides, right? You feel
hand and
from your nose or something. But when you touch a phone or when you touch the bottle, right? You can feel, but you cannot. You don't know what bottle feels, but Krishna does. So it's like Krishna feels every single thing what you do, even when you touch a bottle.
Yeah, it's very nice, because I was thinking, you know, like when I was thinking about myself. So when we have these desires, right? We have some ideas of what we need, and we're just like so eager to get it, and we think like, if I get it, I will be so happy. And he knows about this desire, but same time he knows desires like of other people, right? And he knows exactly what it is, and he knows that, for example, this person, like whatever situation is, so he knows true situation, and he knows it just won't work, or it's something he doesn't want to work. Do you understand what I mean? So, and then it won't just happen because he's the controller. So this is the moment when we should to give up this idea that we control anything in general, because we just need to we need to accept that he knows everything, and we need just have this faith that he wants the best for us, and just wait. That's it, because he knows for sure, because he even created all this, you know, he maintained all this. It's not like he chooses what is, like he knows, because he wants us to go through all this karmic reaction, so he gives us all the situations according to our karma and so on, and he wants us just to realize him like a supreme person, and eventually to come back to the spiritual world and ever be servants, you know, of him in the spiritual world. So yeah, and but you need always to remember this, like really, it's not enough just to realize it once. You need always to remember, because it would be a different situation given to you to realize only this simple thing, you know. And Prabhu's, any?
I liked one point in the purport, and also the story you were sharing of the person you met yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
It triggered that, as sometimes when people they may agree to the point that yeah, we're all souls. Like,
Mm-hmm.
you know, it's like what Prabhupada says in the purport of that last stage of material forgetfulness, that he says, held by the monist, the matter of oneness of a living entity and is Lord by the ultimate merging in one, is also the last stage of materialism or forgetfulness. Because I find that an interesting point, because many people, they think that they're one with everything, but as Mother Divyangi was sharing from Mother Urmila of how you can't actually understand, if you're one with everything, you're still an individual. You can't actually understand other people's thoughts or their desires. You can't actually have their conception. So it goes to show that's also a material level of understanding that, oh yes, we're all one. And Prabhupada is saying that point, that even oneness, that conception of oneness, is still a material understanding, because you're still forgetful.
Yeah.
Of your position being minute and Krishna being the supernova.
Yeah. My spiritual master says that everyone is devotee of Krishna, we just don't remember about it. So whenever you go on book distribution, your goal is to awake these people, just in different ways. Like someone is ready to get and to be awakened, but some people are not ready. So it's also okay, because at some point they will come to this. Even the guy from yesterday, I could say that he would be here sometime. Only time separates him from being a devotee, because he already has this need of spiritual knowledge. You know, he's looking for the answers. It's just like I think like every like a lot of people were at the stage when between you know, before Krishna consciousness, you was on the stage just refusing basically any spiritual like way of exploring the world, and you would just go to scientists to science to explain everything. But I think the smart people, intelligent people, at some point they realize that you cannot find there a lot of answers, and this is the moment when they shift to spiritual knowledge. And it's very beautiful because they just need like a small push, you know. And when we go on Harinam to the streets, and we give them this push by chanting Maha Mantra and give them, you know, just a holy name. So, and it's beautiful, you know, and it's nice to see how people reciprocate and how someone is already looking for the knowledge. They just need this connection, and the holy name can be this connection. And they come to the temple and poof, like 6 months, and they become devotees of Krishna. So, yeah, I really believe that sooner or later everyone will self-realize themselves like a servant and part of the Supreme Lord. So, anything else? Was you sleeping? No. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. And breakfast, 9 a.m. Yeah, have a nice day, and Grantaraj Śhrīmad-Bhāgavatam ki jai, and Shri Shri Radha Govinda ki jai, and